So even if you don't have Schoology and if you don't have the Premier account, you can still absolutely use Edpuzzle to your advantage and share these videos that you've created with students. So what you would do is you go to your Edpuzzle page and you'd select the video. So I'm just going to scroll down and I'm going to select this video about fractions. I would go through my traditional steps of editing the video. Remember, if you make a copy of the video, it will just save it into your content and you can go back and edit it and change it later. So if you find something you really like, I do recommend you make a copy of it. I would edit it, I would add my cuts, I would add my questions and make sure this is all set to go. And then I click finish. The next thing I want to do is I want to assign it. Now I just created this class and I would create a class by clicking add a new class and you title it whatever you'd like to title it. And I'm going to do that here. I'm going to call it Common Gs 2. And I want you to pay close attention to these options right here. If you're working with K-3 students, I would highly recommend that you select the open class. This open class prevents those additional barriers of logging in for students. And students, can get to the video content and there's very few barriers. I would really be hesitant about selecting this let Edpuzzle generate students nicknames because it'll create like a random name. Like for example, just a minute ago I had done this and it gave me the name Brave Brianna. Well, as a teacher, I won't know who Brave Brianna is. So if I do not check this box, kids will be able to type in their first name and last initial. So I'm going to click create class. I'm going to turn off the prevent skipping because I'm going to do a demo with this and I've got my Comegis too. I'm going to assign this. So the next step is I'm going to share this out with students. So I want to share this out with students and the share is not showing up here. So I'm going to go to my classes. I'm going to click on my Comegis 2 class and I'm going to select the video I just created. Now I have this blue share assignment. So I'm going to copy this link. This would be the link that I would publish in my student learning template or hyperlink my student learning template. So I could see this being a really cool activity for having a little bit of instruction using an Edpuzzle video and then maybe a seesaw activity where they're following up and practicing what you've just instructed them. And I would maybe do this in two groups. So, one group's watching the video and working on the seesaw activity, and then I'm doing some live instruction with a smaller group of students, and then we flip. That could possibly be something that worked. If we're doing some sort of stations, I know elementary teachers are masters of the station activities. So I'm curious how this will look in a concurrent situation, but I think this might be a cool strategy that we could implement. I'm going to copy this link and I'm going to show you what it's going to look like from the student perspective. So I'm going to open up an incognito window. Okay, so I have my incognito window over here, and I'm going to paste that link that I just copied from now kids will copy it from their student learning template or click on it from their student learning template. And when I'm brought to this video here, it's asking me to put my name in. So I'm going to call myself KDC, and I'm going to join my open class. So I want you to take a look at what this looks like. So I have my video here, and as I go through, and obviously you would prevent the skipping, but I'm going to skip just so we can do this demo today. I get to all my questions. And you'll notice I have my question here, and I'm going to select my answer. Notice I could skip the question or rewatch that portion of the video if I need a little bit of extra support. I'm going to hit submit. I got it correct, but if I got it incorrect, if I wanted to as a teacher, I could have embedded feedback for kids to take a look at that. And as I work through this, and I'm just going to select some answers. I got that one wrong. I'm going to continue. I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to answer just one more question and click submit. Now, if you take a look over here on the teacher dashboard, I have some information about the student. So this is a really great piece of evidence for you to be collecting data or a great data point for that process or that formative instruction. So you can see here on the teacher side, you'll be able to see how much of the video I watched. It'll give me a grade if I get to the end. and it'll see, if I turned it in and all those things. I can also click on my questions and I can see what I got correct. I could go through here and see what I had even put as incorrect and correct answers and what timestamp it is. For my students, I could click on Katie and I could see exactly how she did. So this data is really a great point to collect some information about student understanding and student progress. And it gives you a nice little snapshot up here at the front, or the top rather. I can see I did not turn this in, and I could go to the next student as they submit them. They will start populating here on this screen. So this is a really great way to collect some information for students, data, especially if we're providing some additional instruction. I mentioned this in another video. I think that Edpuzzle would be key for our concurrent classrooms when you have kids in person and online, and we're conducting stations, and we want to get students down to smaller groups to instruct in those small group station settings. I think that Edpuzzle would be a great tool to implement some instruction, get some data of student progress and student proficiency in different standards, and then maybe follow up with a CSAL activity. And then on the other side of that, I would be working with a small group of students live. So that would be maybe one idea we could maybe implement to our instructional toolbox with Edpuzzle for the K-3 world.